Resource Network. My name is Sharon, and this is Sam, and we're going to be bringing some information to you about WRAP today. This class is called Wrap It Up, and WRAP is Wellness Recovery Action Planning, which is awesome. It is a plan that identifies just about everything that needs to happen and what you want to happen in a plan in case things go south, in case you go into crisis. So what we talked about last week was triggers. And triggers are events that occur that shift us, right? We talked about things like the smell of alcohol or drugs, being around different people that we've had trauma around, and that can be a trigger. Places we've gone, flick of a lighter. Our triggers are based on our experience, and as are our early warning signs. So when you're thinking about, when we're talking about these steps in WRAP, we're all different in that. My experience, I was going to say my experience about being shot at is real. So when I hear a gunshot, I jump behind the couch, right? So that's my trigger, is the gunshot or the car backfiring or the fireworks, right? So these are triggers. These are things that affect us, that shift us, that change us. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the change.
All right, so early warning signs. Early warning signs are basically a change in the way that we think, in the way that we act, or in the way that we feel, right? So they're also a signal that we need to act on to keep these little issues from turning into bigger issues, essentially, right? So with early warning signs, it can be, they're internal. So again, it's going to be different for everybody, and we're going to have different stressors or events that set us, down this path to have early warning signs. And, for me, one of my biggest early warning signs is frustration or irritability. When I notice myself getting pissed off about something little or something that normally wouldn't upset me that much, I have to stop and take a look at what I've been doing or what I am doing currently because I've missed something, A lot of times it's for me, it's as simple as I get irritated with something. I start thinking about it like, oh, well, the past 3 days, I haven't taken time out of my day to meditate. It's been raining for 3 days and I haven't been able to go outside and go hike or walk at the park, So for me, that's like the biggest early warning sign.
Yeah. These are like tells in poker. It's a sign that something's going on. And sometimes, we talked about last week that sometimes I'm triggered and I don't even know. Right? And that's kind of what you were talking about. There's something going on, and my behaviors, thoughts, or feelings are an indication that something has shifted in me. And to be able, like Sam said, to go back and see what was it that has kicked me into those early warning signs. And like Sam, when I get frustrated, when I get really stressed, I tend to be, I'm just going to say it, I tend to be humorous and obnoxious, but I try to be funny. And when I am stressed out, my humor gets me. I do not do mean humor. I don't think it's it's not nice, so I don't do it. But when I'm stressed out, I start getting sarcastic. I start getting those little bites on people, and that's not what I want to do. definitely, that's a behavior I don't want to have because it separates me from people. But it's my reaction to stress. And like I said, everybody's reaction is different. Like I hear the gunshot, I jump on the other side of the couch. My friend goes out on the porch and she's like, "What the hell's going on out here? Where are y'all shooting?" Different experience, different reaction.
Yeah, and that's what rap is based around, right? It's that we know ourselves better than anybody.
Yeah.
And we're our best advocates. We're that's all kind of inherently in this plan, and that's why it's so important with all parts of the rap plan is to get it down on a piece of paper, right? So we can, when you're in a good spot, when you're feeling well, to be able to sit down, because it can be hard, it can be stressful for sure, to sit down and think about what your stressors are, or like we're talking about today, what your early warning signs are. And you may not always know every single one, but you can begin to compile a list with as many early warning signs as possible, that you're already aware of. Mm-hmm. And some of them, it's like you might not know it until it comes up and it develops a little past an early warning sign, right? Because you weren't aware that it was happening. You let it turn into a little bit, tougher of a situation, but then you can learn from that, go back and identify, wow, I was, feeling abandoned, or I was feeling isolated before I started, getting those feelings like I wanted to use, right? So kind of go back and identify those, so next time you know how to deal with them. Yeah, right.
We are experts on ourselves. I need to be an expert on myself because, in all actuality, I'm all I got, and I have to be the one to make those choices. So I want to be able to take care of myself. But our friends and our family and our supporters know us as well. They know our tells, right? I don't know, I think I said this last week or in another class, that if you've ever heard, "Girl, I saw your face from across the room and I knew it was going to get ugly," right? People know how we change. People that know us know, right? I have heard early in the beginning that people knew when I was stressed out and about to drink because they knew me. They knew my patterns and they knew what my reactions were, what my behaviors and thoughts and feelings were after I'd been triggered. So that information is critical too.
Yeah. You share your rap plan with
I do.
Support network.
It's the rap plan is a beautiful piece of written work, but if you don't share it, it doesn't do any good. It doesn't do any good. I have to share information with my friends about, this is how I feel when you talk to me in that tone, or this is what goes on when I'm really stressed. So you can step in and help me out, right? And we need to let people know what they can do too, right, to help.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all, I think that's all in the action plan, right? Somebody who's close to you, because sometimes, like you were saying, the people that are closest to us sometimes, can recognize things before we can.
Yeah.
Or we may not be willing to recognize or admit how we're feeling, but like you said, somebody close that will call you out on it, who's a good friend or partner or whoever, could be, change the course of one of these early warning signs.
A truth teller. I've got to have a truth teller in my life to tell me when I'm not at my best, but also to reinforce when I am.
Yeah.
So not just to give us the negative, but we want those people that share the positive about us too.
So let's look at some of the other early warning signs that are identified in the rap book. And this is by no means an all-inclusive list. This is just to get you thinking, or whatever, about some different ones we haven't talked about. So we talked about irritability, racing or negative thoughts. That's big for me too. My early warning signs, it comes down to me straying from my daily plan. I have a pretty, structured like wellness plan. And if I start letting that slip, like if I'm working a ton or having a lot of schoolwork or whatever it is around the holidays, I'm busy with other stuff. I know, that's when I start getting more irritated. That's when I start, feeling some of those feelings come up.
And showing it.
Yeah, absolutely. So about a racing heart, heart's going.
Yeah.
Uncontrollable crying.
I hate that one. Hallmark card commercials. But when I get depressed, that is something that really is an early warning sign that something's going on with me when I'm weepy.
Right.
And I have to check myself too to see what's going on, because that's a very unusual behavior.
Right.
I like to think other people probably think I'm probably a crier.
We're gonna come back to the crying one later. We'll talk about that when we get into action plan.
Yes.
So feelings of worthlessness, pessimistic attitude. That's another one I definitely have. Everything just terrible, nothing's getting better. I can get like that. Fear, anger, quiet and reserved.
Yeah.
Loss of appetite. Feeling disconnected from my body. Overwhelming sense of loss. Being self-absorbed. And cravings or desires I can't control. That's cravings or desires I can't control.
When my addiction kicks up.
Yeah.
When my all those things that took power from me, whether it was alcohol, sex, gambling, certain people, jobs, whatever it was, is what took power away from us.
So what do we do when we've made a list now and recognized as many early warning signs for us as we could, and so now what's the next step in this, right? It's to develop an action plan to deal with these early warning signs.
Yeah.
Now, with the action plan, this is where your wellness toolbox comes in. All those tools, those skills, those people, things that you can use to maintain and get back your wellness.
Yeah. And those are things like exercise, journaling,
Drawing, meditation, talking to somebody,
yoga, yogurt. Sorry.
Eating healthy.
I'll try that. But these things that we do to kind of shift us back, and there's some things, sometimes I've got to take action to shift myself back. And that's where exercise, and that's where going for a walk, and that's where being outside to get some sun. Those are the things that I do to help me shift back to where I want to be, right? I want to be happy. I've been triggered. I've got these early warning signs. I've shifted. I want to get back to where I'm happy again. And that's where the action plan comes in.
Right. And so, one of the important things about having a well thought out action plan is that this plan, it gives you choices on how you want to respond to a feeling or situation instead of responding on impulse,
Yeah.
And like for me, I honestly, that's probably another early warning sign of me is being extra impulsive, because that's me reverting back to my old ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just by listing it out, now you're in power, right? You have all these different choices on how you can respond to a different early warning sign, because for each sign you might have a different plan.
Absolutely. A different coping skill. Right? If I'm bummed out, I may not want to meditate because that can go deeper. If I'm bummed out, I may want to call a friend that makes me laugh. I mean, that's a solution for that. If I'm angry or anxious, meditation may help. Every action, it would be good if I had a positive reaction, a coping tool to go along with it.
And something else to think about too is, so different warning signs have different action plans. Some can have the same, it's something that only you know what works.
Mm-hmm.
And the rap book recommends that you have a coping skill from your wellness toolbox that you must do when a warning sign comes up, and then another one that you might want to do, just to be, I think it just covers all your bases.
Yeah.
It gives you that extra tool when you need it, but you don't have to use it.
Yeah. Or a new tool.
Yeah.
Or try out something new. Right?
Yeah.
There is another kind of wellness toolbox. I have in my living room a wooden box, and it's all decorated and stuff. And inside, I've got objects. I've got CDs, I've got DVDs, I've got pictures, I've got chocolate. Right now, I got a pack of cigarettes and a lighter because, unfortunately, that's one of my coping skills. I've got things in there that when I reach in, sometimes my brain shuts down. And I have to reach in and pull out something and go, I love this movie. Let me put it in. Right? So, an actual wellness toolbox that you can open up and see things in there that will help. Right? And it doesn't have to be a wooden box. It can be, I had started out with a place on my dresser where I had pictures and a piece of chocolate and some other things that meant things to me. And it helped. And then I got a shoebox and puts more stuff in it. And now I have this bigger box that I can put a lot of stuff in. And it helps. It really does help when my brain shuts off.
Yeah, it's nice, I feel like, to have that actual physical box to open, sentimental value on, that's cool.
Yeah, it's very helpful.
I believe
it's very helpful because it makes things concrete, and sometimes I need concrete to pull myself back. Just like sometimes my behaviors or feelings or thoughts are so intense, I have to pull out that picture and really dwell on it, to get back to where I want to be.
Sure. So let's see. We'll talk about some more action plans. And so this is what I said. I wanted to come back to crying because crying is also listed on the action plan section as well. So you have uncontrollable crying as an early warning sign, and then just crying as an action plan. Release.
Right? Absolutely. And and some people won't have that, and some people will.
Right.
It's easier for some people to cry than other people, but you're right. It is a release. It's a cleansing. I think of it, and it is a lie that if I start crying, I'll never stop. That is not true. I always stop. Yeah, I don't know if you ever thought that. I don't want to cry because I'll never stop. How much is me?
So let's see what else they had. I think this is one you probably hear a lot. Take a deep breath. It's such a simple thing. And for me, that when I used to hear that, I used to like just kind of shake my head, and be like, take a deep breath, like what's that gonna do?
Yeah.
But now I kind of learn that it's not just the deep breath, it's that time, that it takes you to do it, and it only takes a second sometimes to get those thoughts. Like for me with racing thoughts, taking a deep breath would be the first thing that I must do on my action plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll probably take more than one. But
Have you heard is it 784 or 874?
No, I think you're right. I think it's 784.
Where you inhale for 7 seconds, hold it for 8, and then blow it out for 4. Is that what it is?
No, it might be inhale for 4. Hold
did I do it?
Yeah. But you're right.
Yeah, and that's a formal way.
Yeah.
To hold your breath, something that you can think of besides just right. So yeah,
that's another. You remind me of something I do a lot. Sometimes I do it without even thinking about it. Is when I'm walking, I count my steps, and it just brings me back to present. And when I walk, each step, I really just am mindful of my foot hitting the ground, my other foot coming up, and I'm counting, and it clears my head and brings me right back to the moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do it, for a long time. Other times I don't, but that's a big tool of mine.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So take a deep breath. Talk about meditating, and then this one is simple: just getting out of the situation.
Yeah, leave.
With the holidays coming up, you know what I mean? That
Uncle Larry.
Yeah. Seriously, Uncle Larry is. You might have to get away.
Yeah, take a bathroom break. Go for a ride in your car. Take a walk. Listen to music. Do the breathing.
Let's see. Talk to someone, family member, friend, sponsor, partner, whoever.
Someone that can comfort us if we're agitated and help us think more clearly. And like I said, make me laugh when I'm down. I need that so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, it's medicine. It's good medicine
for sure. Hold on to hope.
Nice.
I like that.
Yeah.
About this, write to a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
Never tried that.
Yeah, writing letters. Writing letters we send are wonderful if we can share that love. And I've written letters that were blaming and negative and stuff like that, and it didn't give me what I wanted. It didn't feel good after the fact. But I've also written letters that build someone up, or send a card or something like that. And you don't have to send a letter, right?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can write one of those wicked, I can't believe you, blah, 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 blaming and getting it out like crying.
Yeah.
Don't leave it around though. Burn it, tear it up, do something with it. Because we don't want that to fall in, the wrong hands. It may hurt someone.
Yeah, when I was in treatment, we did something like that. We wrote letters to some good, some bad, whatever, but we put stuff down on there that we wanted to let go of. And we did like a burning ceremony.
Yeah.
It was kind of
cool.
Yeah. So let's see. Drawing, journaling, taking a hot shower.
Yeah.
I like that one. Yeah. Or a bath.
Yeah.
Attend a meeting.
If that works for you, 12-step works for you, do it.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing about getting to a meeting is getting to a meeting.
Yeah.
But it helps me if I never wanted to go to meetings. But after I got there, I always had a good time. I was always glad I went. So it helped me if I told someone I would pick them up, give someone a ride. Then that commitment, or that I'm going to do something at the meeting that, people are dependent on me for.
It's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
It's like so hard to get there. But when you're leaving, you feel
Oh,
good.
yeah. Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, if that works for you, give it a shot. Give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many more of these tools and action plan steps that we could talk about all day. But again, it just comes down to what works for you, and I also think not being afraid to try new things is important, right?
Yeah.
Because you may find stuff that you never thought you would like or that would help.
Yeah, definitely. To try to expose yourself to different coping tools is always good. Talk to other people, see what they do. I've got a lot of information and got a lot of things to try from talking to my friends and family and see, okay, when you're angry, what do you do? What do you do to help yourself? Not just what you do, right? But what do you do to help get back into that frame of mind that you're more comfortable with? You want to check our...
Yeah, let's see. Kim was checking in. Hey, Kim.
Hey, Kim.
LaShonda checking in. Hey. Allison.
Hey, Allison.
She's saying, change the scenery, and so are your mood. I think change the scenery, and your moods and thoughts will change as well.
Absolutely. Oh, that's an awesome one, Allison.
She also this is a good one too. She said, I like finding jokes online. Laughing helps.
Yes, definitely. Now, all I know are pirate jokes now.
That's good.
You don't want to hear them. But find those things. Find those things that when you begin to change into something or someone that doesn't, when I get to change into something or someone that doesn't benefit me, I want to be able to shift back. I want to be able to go back to happy.
Right. So, part of, right, so with the RAP plan, you have a daily maintenance plan, right? And that's just something, what we do every day for our wellness. And so the book here said, I want to read this. It says, even when you're doing everything right, when you're following your daily plan, when you're going to meetings, doing whatever plan, at times you may need to use your action plan for early warning signs 6 or months before you start to feel better. Warning signs do not mean you are doing something wrong. So basically just if these early warning signs come up, and I mean I know they do for me, but most times it doesn't turn into anything more,
Well, that's because of practice.
That's true, yeah.
That's because of practice. The more I practice my coping skills and the more I practice my plan of action, the easier it gets, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So it begins to come naturally. Okay, so I'm pissed. So I'm pissed off. What am I going to do right now? Well, before what I've done was take a walk, call my friend that makes me laugh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me try this one first, and if it doesn't work, kick it up a notch. So to have that plan and all those options are great.
Yeah, you're right. Practice with them. I think writing it down.
Yeah,
like you said earlier, telling somebody that you trust about
what's your plan?
Getting feedback from them as well, and then practicing because things are going to come up and you just got to go with it and stick to what you know about yourself and
What works?
right and what works.
Recovery in a nutshell is doing what works more often and not doing what isn't beneficial at all. So just do what feels good. That is helpful to your recovery.
Yeah, that's
qualify that.
Well, I think we covered the whole
Kit and caboodle.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week.
Yeah.
And when things are breaking down or getting much worse.
Yeah. And again, if you can stop your process at the trigger phase, it's a lot easier. if you can catch it at the early warning signs, it's still pretty easy. But when we get further and further in, it gets more difficult. So catch it quick. Know ourselves well enough that we can catch those signs, those tells, and we can do that action plan to help us feel
better. Right. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for checking in and everything. I appreciate y'all. We got anybody else on there?
Oh, Shelby said, Sharon, thank you guys. You're great. Appreciate it, Shelby. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.
Appreciate it.